Hello everybody, and welcome to my little art demonstration here. Because we're doing about Islamic art, we're going to try drawing an Islamic style pattern. Okay, now at the moment I've just drawn a square, which you can see here. Square, all fours are sides the same length. It's on squared paper. If you haven't got any squared paper at home, maybe if you can print some off the internet, or you could get some out of an old exercise book that maybe one of your brothers and sisters might have. My daughter happened to have an old maths book in the loft, so I managed to find some square paper. This is a bit smaller than I've done it on before. It's not centimetre square, but it doesn't matter. Or if the worst comes to the worst, you can always get someone, or try yourself, drawing out a square grid. Now, it doesn't have to be square, but we're going to go with square. I've done mine 16 squares, sorry, no, 20 squares. It started off as 16, I've changed it. So 20 squares this way, 20 squares that way, and we have a square, like so. Now, the thing about, one of the great things about Islamic art patterns is the symmetry that you find in it, reflective symmetry. Sometimes it's rotational. We're looking at reflective symmetry on this one. So the first thing I've done is I've drawn my square, as I've said. The next thing I need to do is I'm going to draw a vertical line and a horizontal line with my pencil, like so. This will help me when I actually come to design the pattern, which I will show you in a minute. So I draw a vertical line down the centre, and if you're not sure where the centre is across there, just count across half the number of squares. So mine would be 10 squares along and 10 squares up on one side, and I draw a line going across. And you can see that we've divided it into 4 smaller squares. Next, we need to start the pattern. Now, because this is going to be symmetrical, and it's going to be symmetrical along the vertical line of symmetry, and it's going to be symmetrical across the horizontal line of symmetry. So the easiest way to do this is to start in the centre, and whatever you do in one quarter, you then repeat in the other quarters as reflective symmetry. So I'm just going to start off with something basic, and I'm going to draw a shape like this. Now you'll notice I'm not using a ruler. If you want to use a ruler because you're not very good at drawing straight lines, then feel free, but I'm not. Now I've drawn that shape, so now I need to reflect it onto this side. So I look at that diagonal there, and I know it's got to come over to here because it's going to be reflective, so I'm going to draw another one here. Now I need to draw one over this side, and then I draw one over this side, and we've created a star, and you'll see that it's reflective that way and it's reflective this way. And that's essentially what you do throughout the whole pattern. I keep looking at my camera, of course you can't see my face. So now I'm going to think about maybe a curve. I might go from a curve from here, and I'm going to draw one there, and I'm going to do the same thing on here. So I'm going to loop it round onto this side here. Now I've got to do the same thing in this side, so I'm going to go around to there. Now I don't have a rubber with me, so hopefully I won't make a mistake. I'm not planning to. And this is a sort of very simplified version of how Islamic art works. You want to try and mix up straight lines and curved lines. If you just use all straight lines, you lose some of the dynamics of it, and change some of the directions of your lines. So this time I'm going to go one square up, and I think I might do a straight line to there and then to there, and I'm going to do the same over here and up to that one there. So now I've got to do the same thing here. There's that little V in there. I'm sort of skipping ahead of myself now, but I want to remember to keep that V in there. And now I've got to join these lines up. I'm trying to do mine a bit quicker than you would. I think I've gone wrong there. I knew I would. And there. Ugh. Doesn't matter though. Don't panic if you go wrong, because I'm going to alter my design by going from there to there. Okay, I'm going to go from here to here, and from there to there, and from there to there, and I'm going to add that line in as well. So now it looks like it was always part of the design. There we go, and crisis hopefully averted. Just check that that looks all the same. Perfect. Right, now I'm going to do something else. See, so what I'm doing is I'm just building up my design. I'm going to go 2 squares up this time, and I'm going to do a big curve round to that point there, like that. So now I've got to do the same thing on this side to make it reflect. It's 2 squares that way, 2 squares this way, and like I said, I'm doing mine a bit quicker than I would normally do it because I just don't want to bore you all to death. And if I am, I apologise for that. You can always fast forward it to a bit where you think, oh no, I'll slow it down and have another listen again. 2 squares to here. So the pattern's building out. I'm going to do something. I want to do a point. I feel a point coming on to that one there, to here, to here. So it was there and it's gone 1, 2, 3 up, 1, 2, 3. So it's to here. Curve it out. 1, 2, 3 to there. Oops, that went a bit too far over me. That's fine. And this point here, like so. Yep, I like that. Where can we go from here? I mean, I could do anything. Whatever corner I start with, I just have to replicate it all the way through. So I think I'm going to do some bold move over to a corner somewhere. I think I might join that up to there. How do I want to do that? No, I won't. I'm going to do another one of those to there. I'm going to extend it. Come across to that one. As long as you've got a steady hand, that's what you're aiming for. And to here. So you can already see how it's building up as it's expanding out. Yeah, I need a few lines. I might just do a straight line to here. Almost makes it look like a square right in the middle of it. I am actually literally making this up as I'm going along. There's no thought behind it except for thinking in the moment, like so. When you created your pattern, you can put other things inside it, but we haven't got that far, and colours and things. Right, so I'm going to go from here and I'm going to join up to that point. I'm going to do a big curve like that. Not bad. And a curve like this. Not a straight line, I'm trying to do it as a small curve. Yep, I quite like that. Yep, there we go, there we go. And we just got one more here, like that. Let's see, I'm going to join from, any suggestions, anyone? Okay, I'm just going to go a straight line down that diagonal point there. That means I've got to do one here, one through here, one through here. And like I said, I'm trying to do mine quite quickly. So we've got something. Right, I'm going to go 2 squares in here, and I'm going to bend it out. I don't know why. 2 squares in, I've got to go to that point. Oh, I went 3 squares out. Okay, never mind. 1, 2, 3. Careless mistake on my part, but I've just got to add an extra line in on that part. See, so if it's a crisis, it's not a crisis. Actually, you can just avert it. So 2 squares and curve it to that point there. 1, and then again 2. Yep. So it's got to go, look, because I'm looking at the symmetry across here. There's from that point 1, 2, 1, 2. So it's got to go from here and here down to that one there. There and there. So I've got to go from here and here. There. There. I'm going to go to here. Here. Actually, that was quite a nice mistake. If anybody spots any mistakes, let me know on Show My Homework, because like I said, I'm working fast. Normally I would do this slower. Worst thing is when you lose track of what you're doing. So 2 squares and 3 squares. So I'm going here, here, 2 squares, 3 squares, and go to there and to there. Actually, I quite like the idea of that. It was kind of a happy mistake. Right, now I'm going to do a big curve. Oh, it's not even that big. Okay, never mind. There. Now I'm not going to probably do this in all the sorts of detail that I probably would have done if I was just doing it on my own. To there, and to here, and to there. Okay, I like that. These spaces in here I can fill in with dots, triangles, or anything else. You know, whatever I want to choose really. I do want to do something else in there. I think I'm going to go from here. I think I'm going to put another curve to make it like that. I quite like curves. I find they look much more sort of organic and fluid. Like so. Another one here. I think that's all of them too. Yep, good. Right, circles. Circles are great. I'm going to put a big circle in the centre here. Like that. And I don't know why, but I'm going to put a cross in it as well. Yeah. I feel I want to put something in these triangles, but I don't know what. Do you know what? I'm going to leave it like that for now because I've got a basic pattern there. Now we're going to add a colour. Now I've got some colours, and you want your colours to be symmetrical as well. So wherever you start, you make sure it's the same all the way around. Now I don't know what colour this is. Yeah, I've got some, I think these are sparkly felt pens. How nice. So, oh, yellow, classic, which means all of these inside ones have got to be yellow, because it's reflective. So it's not just the pattern that's reflecting, it's the colour as well. Now I could keep swapping over and getting another pen, or I might find some other places where I want to do yellow as well. And I'm going to do yellow in this section here. I love using felt pens. Someone once said to me that they could describe the effect of felt pens as saying that they were uniform, immediate and glamorous. And that is very, very true. Uniform, meaning that you get the same shade all over. Immediate means that you don't have to work the colour in like a colouring pencil. It's just there instantly. And glamorous because it's like the neon lights of the 1980s. My time. Your parents will know what I'm talking about. Or maybe they won't. I don't know. I've got this so far without making any mistakes, which is actually pretty good for me. So I'm just sticking with the yellow. If you want to change colours every time you finish a section, you can do. But I'm thinking, no, I'm going to go for a yellow on that section there. That means I have to do it on this one here because it reflects over that diagonal. That means I've got to do this one. And over here. And like I've said a number of times, I am kind of rushing this a bit. But you can take your time to make it look a lot better than mine. Remember, this is all about trying to create an Islamic pattern. Right, I've done enough yellow there. I'm going for blue. Just pushing the boat out here and going for blue. So I'm going to do this whole middle section. I can't do one side and not the other because it needs to be well, I could, but I'm not going to because it needs to be reflective. Okay, now I've got to do this one. Be careful to stay inside the lines because obviously the design is one thing, but how neatly you do the design is just as important, because if it looks a mess, then you kind of ruin your work really. So always try and work inside the lines that you intend to follow. Okay, cool. Do I want to do any more blue? There's got to be some more blue somewhere. Yeah, I'm going to go for these little sections here. That means that one as well. And that one. And this one. Oh, there's quite a few of those. Okay. Right, change of colour. I'm going red, and I just don't care. Please work. Oh, thank goodness for that. There's nothing worse than picking up a felt pen in the middle of doing a nice piece of work and it only half works. That is really annoying. Yeah, or dropping it even. That's almost as annoying. Okay. You can decide how many colours you want to do yourself. You may just want to do 2 or 3, or you may want to do an awful lot. But the most important thing is that you follow the pattern and you make sure that it is in fact symmetrical. So whatever you do in 1 quarter, you have to do in all 4 quarters with that colour. Otherwise you will lose the symmetry. I'm one of these people that I find it very difficult to talk and do artwork at the same time. I've told people in my class that many times, which is difficult to avoid when you're demonstrating something. But if I had my way, I would sit here in silence for 30 minutes and do this, so that all my attention was actually on the picture and not on having to have a chit chat. So I suggest that when you try and do this, you find a quiet place, if that's possible, in your house. Let's have a look. You'll notice that some of the red is smudged, which was not open. One way to get around that, so you don't look, you can see it's all in the back of my hand there, is to have a spare bit of paper that you can rest up where you rest in your hand, so that it won't smudge. But there's going to be other colours on top of it, so that's not going to be too much of a nightmare. I should have thought about that, but I didn't. Never mind. Part of the learning process is learning from your mistakes and adjusting. Right, now because that's really annoying me, because it's red, I can't do it in yellow or something lighter than red, so I'm going to go over with a purple. Let's make sure that works. Good. So I'm going to first of all do this section here in purple, and there's that red smudge gone. That's that one. That one. That one. So I'm trying to work quickly so I can get through this so you can see how it develops. But please take your time, and putting this bit of paper on here is a good idea. Wish I'd thought about that at the beginning. But then you've got the benefit of hearing me say about it beforehand. Right, I want to get that section there coloured in, because that's really annoying me. And hopefully green will cover it up. Ew. It's got a bit of grot on it. There we go. That's this section here. Yeah. Now, all your sections, you'll notice that mine, in mine, they won't look exactly perfect. Don't worry too much about that. You can see how that green section is not quite the same size as that one. Don't worry about it. I mean, if you can get them the same size, that's even better. But if you can't, it's not a problem. That one there. Over here. Always just keep double checking that the section you're going to colour in is in fact the right one, because with felt tips there's just no going back. once it's on, and you can't get it off. That's why you need to take your time. And it does take time. Right, I'm going for blue in this large section here. I feel I've broken the back of this now. That means I feel like I'm cracking on with it. I don't think I've ever done one of these as fast as this. And I think it would have come out better if I'd have taken my time a bit, but I've already explained why I'm trying to do it quickly. And there. Okay, good. Right, that's nice. Oh, I like this blue. This is a very nice blue. Any more? Well, yes. Okay, that's good. I think this is the last section of that bit there. Good. I'm starting to run out of colours now. I don't know what this is. Pink. Cool. I like pink. Pink works. You don't have to use 3 million colours. You just don't have the same colour in the same section next to each other, because that might cause, well, you'll just have a very large section of the same colour, which doesn't matter. And if you really do make a complete hash of it, I'll just start again on another piece. Practice makes perfect, as they say. We're getting there. We're getting there, folks. Nice. I think that's good. Yeah, okay. I might go for red again because it's a very striking colour and I want to put it in that section. Nice. As you can see, I forget to say something. Sometimes it's better just not to talk and get on with it, because then I can concentrate and not worry about doing the wrong bit because I'm chatting. Like I said, you're going to be able to spend however long you want on yours, and ideally not have to worry about talking. I think that's all right so far. Let's see. I don't even know what colour that is. What colour's that? Soon find out. Orange. Nice. I might use that again in a second. In fact, I'm going to do that orange all the way around on those bits. If you have a look at the resources in Show My Homework, you'll see some examples of ones that have been done by the children from last year, which came out, I have to say, extremely well. Some people, grey, or do I want to branch out with grey? Not sure. Green. I'm going for green in this last section, because I haven't got a lot of green. Yeah, that looks nice. Yeah, and they all had a really good cracking go last year at doing this. And as you can see in the examples that I've put on a PowerPoint in the Show My Homework website. And they did it exactly like this. And the last bit, I don't know, whatever that is, I'm just going to go with grey. Now you're probably thinking that's finished, but it's not. Because the last thing you need to do is an outline, because then it covers up any horrible bits. So basically you just go through, just in case there's any that felt tip on it. There was a bit there. I'm just going to put an outline on all of it. So I'm just going to go round like this. Because this is the very last thing that you need to do. And once you've got this on, you'll be done. It does cover up all manner of things that where you've coloured over the edges in the wrong places. But don't muck up on this part. So you're just following all the lines that you've done. You don't need to do this line through here and this line through here, because they don't separate any of the patterns off. And like I said earlier, I am rushing mine. You don't want to be rushing yours, but you can see. Let's go around here. Yeah, that's all right. I suddenly looked up on screen what I was filming. I thought something had gone wrong then. No, oh, it's my other hand. Hey, that's all right, like that. Well, this is coming on all right. There we go. Not long now. And we can take a look back and see how it goes. For anybody who's fallen asleep while I've been doing this, my apologies. But I haven't worked out yet how to edit the video. So I'm just filming it from start to finish. And like I said before, if you want to sort of fast forward and have a look at things further on, if you think, yeah, I know what he's doing now, I don't need to watch the whole 4.5 days of him recording, then that's fine. That's the beauty of it being on video. You can watch it and go back, start it again. Okay, that looks good. Yep, nice. Hopefully a lot of you out there are thinking, actually that's not as difficult as I thought it was going to be, because in fact it isn't. Not if you just do it one bit at a time. I think when you first look at the things and you look at the finished product, you think, oh my goodness me, there's no chance I'm going to be able to do that. But when you break it down, it's not really that complicated. This bit's the easy bit. This is just going over all the lines you've already done. Okay. Like I said, I have done this in record time, and these felt tips are probably a little bit fatter than what I would choose, but you know, you can only go what you've got. I think I'm just coming to the end. Have I missed any? Have I missed any lines, anybody? If I have, I'll come back to them later. I think that's it. I suppose I could draw one final line round the outside, but normally you would cut that out. In fact, I would even say don't even bother drawing that line, because if you're going to do the final step, which would be to cut this out, and if you've got a printer that can photocopy at home, you can photocopy these, make 6 of them, and they look exactly the same as this, and cut out the squares. And remember, don't do that black line there. It doesn't matter if you do, but and then what you do is you cut all the photocopies out and you stick them all next to each other, and you should find then that you've got, you don't have to do 6, you can do as many as you like, but if you do 6, like on the ones I put on the PowerPoint, you can see how they all then fit together as a tile, and they should all look like a beautiful mosaic. I might just actually finish that line off across the top because I'm not going to cut mine out. I'm going to leave it as it is. You could do it with a ruler. Boom. I think that's finished. And there you go. So hope that helps. Good luck, and I look forward to seeing your efforts soon. Thank you and enjoy.